My name's Kurt Mayne. I'm timeless. Well, what I'd like to talk about is my life, at least the paranormal, so-called paranormal. To me, it's normal. So I don't really like to use paranormal, but that's the term that most people are familiar with. What I'd like to talk about is my contact with spirit beings, if that's what they are, and aliens, if that's what they are. With me, the spirit contact, if that's what it is, bear in mind, all this stuff, here I've gone through it all my life, I have very little answers as to what it is. I can make assumptions, and I've got some ideas, but that's all they are. I can't say anything is fact. But the spirit world, for me, I would say, I had it when I was a kid, but as far as becoming really, really, really powerful in my life, I'm going to say maybe from the 20s, maybe from my 20s, not the 1920s, I'm not that old. Maybe from the 20s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. So I don't know. For a number of years now, I've had a lot of spirit contact. Now, Whitley Strieber, well-known author, has done a lot of stuff with his own contact, believes there's a connection between the aliens and the dead. Is it true? I don't know. My own experiences lead me to believe that, yeah, that could very well be true. That the aliens and somehow the dead are together in some bizarre way. Just because I've had such a huge sampling of both. I would say now, if I had to go my lifetime, which have I had more contact in? Probably spirit world. I've probably had more of that than I have alien. Let me touch on something really quick. This goes back a long time. We're going to go way back to high school days. And I always wondered if this is what brought this into my life, and I don't know. Me and a date were on a double date, actually, in San Francisco. And it was with a nice couple that were, this young lady was the last person you'd ever suspected going into where we went into. Studious, straight A student. So we parked the car. We're in North Beach in San Francisco, which is an interesting neighborhood. And we go into the store. Now I was with my girlfriend, so I'm just in love, and I probably would have walked into hell, which is possibly exactly where I walked into. We walk into the store. And I got to about the middle of the store. I can still remember this like it was yesterday. Got to the middle of the store, and I just had this horrible feeling. The first time in my life I felt pure, 100% evil. Walked to the middle of the store, and I just get this horrible feeling. I looked up, and there was this dome in the middle of the store. So I take it, and I was at the middle, the vortex, if you will, of the store. And I told my girl, I said, I gotta get out of here. I look around, and for some reason I didn't notice before, this was a house of satanic worship. I turn around and run out of the house, or out of the store, and I'm standing by the car with her. I'm just going, I almost hyperventilated. And I said, oh my God. I said, I can't go back in there. She said, fine, we'll wait out here for them. And I don't know if that was the moment that I got this into my life. I don't know. Now I would naturally say that most of the stuff is evil. But I don't know, because that seemed to start a lot of stuff. And there's a line in a great movie, Exorcism of Emily Rose, where the priest says, once you see real evil, it never leaves you. So I went and did hypnosis again. And through that one, equally wild story, I'm laying in bed, I look back, and I'm taken out of bed, but it felt like I was liquefied and taken up to the ship. Now, are ships right there in the sky? Are they multidimensional? I don't know. I tend to believe they're multidimensional. Anyway, I'm on this craft, and now I'm going to say this was probably about 12 years ago, maybe, about that. I'm on this craft, and I'm sitting at what almost could be described as a pew, a religious kind of thing. I could see purple lights, there's purple everywhere. And behind me, you could see what almost looked like pews. And greys are the little typical alien with the gray head, gray body, the big eyes, a little slit for a mouth. There was a bunch of them scurrying around in the back area of this craft. And I'm sitting there with this being, no name this time. This being almost looked like a werewolf. He had little black eyes, very little, and leathery type skin. But didn't scare me at all. Once again, this was more of a spiritual kind of being. But he was very mad at me for not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which to this day, I don't know what it is. Me and my daughters, it was a summer afternoon, me and my daughters were in the back room of the apartment, which at the time, we turned into like a little mini theater. We had the surround sound and the TV back there. And we were back there watching some movie. Can't remember what the hell the movie was this time. And my younger daughter hears her bird going berserk in the front room. She goes out there, calms the bird down, comes in, tells us, she says, this is the strangest thing. The bird was just staring straight ahead, like it's just terrified. And I calmed the bird down, she said. And okay. Finished the movie, we went out, come back in, and my older daughter saw we had a message on the machine, an incoming message. So she pressed it, and it was her best friend, the neighbor next door to us, says, you have to change the message on that machine. It's terrifying. We looked at each other, and I'm going, what's she talking about? Because the outgoing message had always been variations on the theme of my daughter's saying, the Maynes aren't home. Leave a message after the beep. Beep. So, what is she talking about? So we pressed the announcement button and proceeded to hear one of the most bizarre things you'll ever hear. It was what I believe to be a dead person, I'm guessing. Alien possible, but I'm more leaning to spirit world on this. Leaving a message. Hello, I'm sick. Let's do it again. Now, I mentioned the bird in the background going crazy while this was going on, because we were in the bedroom watching this movie, and my daughter heard the bird. Well, let's play it one more time. Pay very close attention to the end of this, and you'll hear the bird going berserk in the background. Here it is. Anyway, continued our day, went to bed, woke up in the morning, and I'll never forget to the day I die. Once again, my older daughter was the lucky one who found this. She says, Dad, get over here. I go over, and there's the bird cage. The bird's laying dead on the bottom of the cage with its little black eyes sitting in the bottom of the cage. His eyes fell out. Now I don't know how many aviary experts we have out there, but the eyes don't fall out of your socket like that, or a bird's eyes don't fall out of the socket. I was far from a bird expert. And I was telling someone the story, and they looked at me, Kurt, that cannot happen. The eyes cannot fall out. And I looked at them, well, yes, it can. And they did. Whatever that bird saw killed it. What it was, I'll probably never know. Definitely one of the stranger, if not the strangest, darkness experience that we've ever had. Bear in mind, all this stuff, here I've gone through it all my life. I have very little answers as to what it is. I can make assumptions, and I've got some ideas, but that's all they are. I can't say anything is fact. Because this stuff can lead to a lot of bad things in your life. I've known a lot of people that turned to drugs because of this, because they just didn't want to remember. Heavy drinking because of this. addictive behavior. I have to be careful myself because I've got gambling in my life. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that is an escape from the alien stuff. Sometimes I'm afraid, I think actually I'm going to credit myself the last couple of years. I've come to to conquer the fear a little bit. There's still times when it's scary. You sense evil. Evil is very scary. Last time I truly felt evil was at a place I worked, and I ran away. I want to think next time I encounter that, I stay there. Oh, it's great in relationships. They love being out with the crazy guy. Now, relationships are the hardest part about this. As weird as all this sounds, and I know all this stuff sounds crazy, what I like to tell people, if I'm sitting across from me, hearing what I say, put me in the padded room.